Hey everybody, Dominic here. Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to give you guys a quick reminder. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you never miss an episode, leave us a comment. Comments make you sexy. Also, if you're listening on audio platforms, please give us a rating, leave a review. Spotify has a new feature where you could tell us what your favorite moment on the episode is. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment. If you'd like to support us, join us on Patreon. You get access to bonus content, our Minecraft server, and all kinds of cool stuff. Join us on Discord. Everyone's hanging out there, having fun, sharing memes, chopping it up. It's free to join. All of the links for everything I just talked about, check out our episode description. It's down there below. What else, Ryan? That's everything. Enjoy the show.
Poquito Podcast. Poquito Podcast. Poquito Podcast.
Hello, I'm Ryan Reyes,
And I'm Dominic Angel.
and together we are
Un
Poquito
Podcast.
It's like Scooby-Doo lightning. Anyway, wouldn't it be dope if we
Un
could...
Poquito. Learning about Latin culture little by little. Right, Ryan?
Yes, I'm sorry. I had a moment.
I was like death staring you for like 15 seconds, like waiting for you to finish. Welcome to the episode, everybody. We're having a fun family time today. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
I made you a flower.
Joined by us. Joining
Look at
us.
It's shiny.
Yeah, it's metallic.
It's metallic. Isn't it
And
interesting?
you could have one too.
Everybody
If-
welcome.
Okay, oh yeah. So let's introduce, we have our mom, of course, who's been on the show before.
Hey guys.
Angel Domesco, owner and proprietor of LegacyTeasandSpices.com. And our little brother Diego.
What's up,
Bow, bow,
peeps?
bow, bow.
Hell yeah. It's an exciting time. We got some fun questions from our Discord and from our Patreon that my mom is going to answer. She hasn't seen the questions yet. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But you have some big, exciting news that you wanted to announce today. Is that right?
Yes. The new tea blends you guys asked for are ready. And I really do like them. I like one in particular. And one of the members of the Discord
These
named
are
it.
signature Un Poquito blends, correct?
Yes. We got one called Un Poquito de Todo.
Mm.
And this is a tropical punch. It is a hibiscus base. Yeah, if you guys want to pass them around, I brought one for you too, Josh. So you guys could smell them. And it is a cherry flavored. It has cherry, pineapple, mango, very tropical. It has blue cornflower petal, marigold.
Feels so
It was
good.
fun making it.
Feels so
It's very colorful and pretty, as you can see. It has pineapple chunks in it, mango
my
chunks in it.
It smells delicious.
So this is a hibiscus blend. Can you explain for the people that don't drink tea what the benefits are of hibiscus?
Hibiscus is a red flower, and the blend itself contains cherries, pineapple, mango, papaya.
There's a lot of this really big cherry flavor, at least in the smell. I know sometimes when you
does.
steep them,
I've been on a cherry kick.
they don't. You get a more full flavor when you actually like steep them. It doesn't always taste how it smells.
Now, the hibiscus that we got is really, really potent. It's fresh. We got it from a hub in downtown LA that receives the tea, the herbs directly from the country that it comes from. And sometimes when I'm able to, actually half of the year, I'm able to get it directly from the source, but then the other half of the year, sometimes I get it from the hubs. Now, these hubs haven't processed it, so we're getting a fresh flower, and I had to cut it myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the hibiscus came from Mexico, and the red flower is good for your kidneys. It's good for it cleanses the kidneys. Anything red like cherries, pomegranates, and so forth.
So for people, it's always funny when people don't like drink teas and they see something like hibiscus, they might not be excited about it. But I feel like our audience, like if you drink Jamaica, like hibiscus is Jamaica, right?
It is.
So this is essentially like, a
Jamaica.
fruit punch Jamaica
It
blend.
absolutely is. And the difference, what our niche is in this industry is that we blend our teas with other ingredients. And for the most part, they're all organic ingredients, except for some of the dried fruit that's candied and so forth in order to preserve it. But
And it also gives it a little bit of sweetness, right? Because the Jamaica
absolutely.
is kind of a sour
It's a tart tea. And for those that, are very health minded, the sweetness from the fruit, I think is enough. But if not, you want to add a agave or a simple syrup like I made here. I made it last night for you guys in case you want to put it in your tea. So I cold brewed these overnight and
we're going to try. I'm going to hand these out. You can keep talking about them, but I'm going to give Ryan and Diego their juice.
okay.
Their tea.
Here's your juice box.
You definitely probably want to put some sweetener in it. Do you want me to put it in for you?
Sure. Can I see one of the closed bottles?
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to show these out. These look really cool. And you had mentioned earlier before we recorded, you're selling these, right?
Yeah. I have these online now, and they're really neat. Can I put this down now? Can I put this down?
Yeah, you can.
I just want to show you really quick. This is how I steeped your guys's. And it has a bamboo lid. It has a silicone ring inside. It has your basket, your steeping basket. So you're going to want to put the loose leaf in the basket. It has tiny little holes in it. It's an infuser to infuse the water that you put. Now you could just put room temperature water or cold water. We tested it out with hot water last night and it worked. And then you just drop the basket in and put this in the fridge. In the morning, it's done.
I can't get over this smell. I haven't even tried it yet. It's so
How do you guys like it?
it's so decadent and like I don't know if decadent.
This fool said decadent.
You want to try it?
I already tried
It's
it.
like
Studious. Look at this. A
You wanna
studious
try
ass fool.
Is it a tea or a coffee?
Dog, this shit fucking smacks.
You want to try it?
My word.
You want to try it, Eric?
I did add some of the sweetener to it, but it does taste like
It doesn't have any sweetener.
that one doesn't have any. I put it in mine and
is
put it
there-
in Diego's.
Yeah, so when I took a drink of it, I only took a small sip, so I think all the syrup kind of settled at the bottom right now. But like on its own, it's got a strong like tartness to it. But I mean, I love sour tartness, so it's I love it. It's amazing.
Thank you.
This is better than what's that brand that you see at like taco places? Bang or something?
I don't know what it's called, but they make orange bang too.
I think it's just Olay, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
you're right.
Diego was pointing out, and that's why I snickered earlier while we were describing it, that these kind of look like Mojo bottles from Austin Powers.
Stupid. Don't equate this with Mojo. I mean,
Did you
You
sweeten
cannot
yours?
see
I
it.
put a little bit. I put a little
Can
bit
I
of sweetener
taste
in
it?
mine.
I've lost me Mojo.
So these ones you just
Oh my God, so good.
you cold brew them overnight, right? You just put the basket
I-
in, fill it with water, and then leave it in the fridge.
Yes, and I carefully thought all of this out because I knew like the space limit that we have here. So that's why we happened to find these, and I thought it was it was good to so you guys could taste test. Plus, also so that it's a good buy. So we're definitely putting those online.
So that was what was it? Un poquito de todo.
Yeah,
Right.
and if you guys can help me look up to see who named it, because one of the Discord members named that tea.
We'll find it and
Yeah.
we'll screenshot it on the episode.
Okay, so thank you for that. If we could definitely, if you guys find out who it is, and say thank you to them for sure, and then we'll announce that on the Discord.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for that for sure. And this next one, It's called No Sabo Chai, and it's a coconut chai.
Every time I hear that, I said it as a joke that it'll be flavored like coconut because we're no Sabo kids, and it makes me laugh every time. But coconut black tea. So if you don't know, the Domzi the Bombzi is a coconut and chocolate base, and this is kind of like a spicier version of that.
Mhm. Absolutely, because this one has clove, cinnamon, and allspice. It has shredded coconut, and the black tea is infused with coconut as well.
That sounds like
So
perfect.
you guys should smell it and see if you like the scent of it, the aroma. That's a good coffee alternative, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like a perfect combination because I'm pretty sure a lot of like traditional chai drinkers usually drink it with coconut milk anyway.
The
Yeah, I forgot to bring
Oh.
the coconut milk.
I don't
Sorry.
know. I don't know about that. The coconut black tea that you also sell is really good. That one tastes like a coconut cookie. Like it reminds me of cookies. So this one is like a nice like spiced Christmas cookie with like a hint. Yeah.
What are those ones Little
And-
Debbie makes? It's like a frosted coconut cookie, coconut oatmeal.
And those you
Mhm.
can go ahead and serve yourself from the pitcher.
I'm gonna pour a couple of these bad boys.
I can't ever get that was like the fun because we used to talk about how I would help you blend in the past,
Yeah.
and that was always my favorite part is because of all the fresh ingredients that we're using. At first, it's all a lot of strong, like I'm about to say decadent again. It's a lot of strong flavors and smells, but once they're combined and the finished product is like completed, that aroma fills the room, and it's always a blast. It's always my favorite part of making the teas.
So this is a black tea based.
Right.
It has super antioxidant properties, and it has
For my ASMR freaks.
Now I messed up. Like I was supposed to bring almond milk or coconut milk for this, but it tastes smooth without it.
Yeah, a lot of people. I mean, I don't think every chai, but it is a common practice. But I also think there's different kinds of ways of making chai. I think in America it's popular to blend it with black. I think in India it's just spice.
I don't know.
I-
I'm not gonna support that statement because I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's really good. I didn't personally. I love chai.
Yeah. So this was the coconut chai.
This one's really nice. It's got like the nice earthiness of like the black tea definitely comes through, and then everything else is like a hint, like at the back of the drink.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out that this chai with the clove, with the allspice, the cinnamon, the very light, subtle black peppercorn, all of those are anti-inflammation. So most of the chais are anti-inflammation. It has also a little bit of ginger root.
So if you got a bad back,
Yeah. If you got any aches and pains, that
I've noticed another question because I love the tea so much that I'm speaking it. Anyway, I enjoy chai tea because it's a very relaxing flavor palette. Then you also blend it with black tea. Like I feel like it's a great. What's the word? Like it's a good resting tea for like. You know what I mean? Like.
That's actually not a bad idea. Like,
yeah, it's not.
I feel like I'm gonna walk out here feeling like a tin man all oiled up. Like because I have constant aches and pains from like weightlifting and football in high school. So like
Yeah.
this is like heaven right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and it smells wonderful. It's just a good wake up tea, I think, for sure.
so that this is the un poquito de todo and the no sabo chai
Yes.
now available. LegacyTeasandSpices.com. Do we have a code?
You could use the UP20.
UP20 for
Yeah. And they've been coming in, by the way, you guys. Your customers or your fans that are using the code. Well, they're my customers, but they're your fans. So they're using the code.
That's how it should work.
Yes.
Thank you all for supporting. Thanks for
Thank you. Thanks,
for-
guys.
Yeah. That was a gross sound. We'll be right back. May 29th, Don't Fly Comedy is back at PDA Space in Alhambra. It's going to be at 7 p.m. We know it's a Monday, but you get the day off, guys. It's going to be fun. Headlined by none other than Ricky Macias, hosted by me and Mario Rodriguez. We're going to be featuring Danielle Perez, Jesse Velasquez, Ash Casanova. All very funny. It's going to be a great time. If you're a patron at the highest level, you get free entry, whether it's live or live streamed. Tickets will be available online for $10 or $15 at the door. If you'd like to live stream, $5. All of the links to everything I just talked about is in the episode description. Thanks for being here, y'all. Enjoy the episode. And we're back.
Fucking right.
Good that it.
Leave it in.
Jesus.
Are you done?
And we're back.
For all of our ASMR freaks.
You really have to be freaky to love those noises. No, but we have some questions. The first one is going to be from the Patreon. Joss Ray from Patreon.
I'm going to speculate that it's pronounced Jazz Ray.
Jazz Ray from Patreon. Joss Jazz. Hello. Thank you for your support. They ask, Feliz Dia de la Madre.
Thank you. Thank you.
My question is, favorite funny memory of your children and when they made you laugh so hard that it hurt?
I don't know. That's a tough one because we had a lot
We'll start one of each.
for each one.
What's the first story that you tell when you like you talk about Ryan
I do know one
behind
story.
his back?
I know one thing I did a few years back that on the day that it happened, it made you laugh like so hard that it just you forgot what you were doing in that moment.
What was that?
The first time I said Michaela Chingada. But no, so you were saying it because you were like talking to Diego or Dominic, and then out of nowhere I went Michaela Chingada, like without the accent, and that I forget you were like mad at someone, and then you completely forgot what we were talking about because of what I said, and that like controlled the conversation for the next 40 minutes.
Yeah, you even turned it into a spiel the next day.
Right, it was like a cowboy lost in Mexico, like. They call me Michaela Chingado. Does anyone know what that means?
Well, I'm gonna just say that I'm pretty sure you told this story very accurately, so I believed it had happened. It's
I
doing
know.
nothing for me right now, dude.
Okay, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one with Ryan that just reminded me was, we were still at the shop and we were trying to work it, and I was driving so far. What the hell did I say this time?
Excuse me.
So I remember. Oh my god! I don't know what they're talking
I
There's
about.
a
think I do.
song.
Yeah, she would play that song all the way to the
Missy
show.
Elliott. I saw her this weekend. I freaking saw her this weekend.
Did she buy any tea?
Well, no, I mean I saw her performing, but I was stuck in a booth
That was your
working.
chance.
But at least I got to see her. Anyway, we're driving down the 210 freeway and we're going towards the shop.
Don't tell anybody where we live.
And I was trying to motivate Ryan because he was just like out of it. And so I was I thought of thinking of a clever plan and something that we're going to do at the shop to motivate us and make some money. And so I'm going on and on and on for a good 20 minutes. And then I was like feeling powerful. I was feeling like motivated myself, and I was feeling very positive. And all of a sudden I'm on the carpool lane and I turn and I look at Ryan and he's freaking dead asleep with his tongue sticking out and he's like kind of snoring. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe like I just wasted my 20 minutes. But then it was just so hilarious. I thought it was funny. I started laughing and he woke up. He's like, because I was laughing. He woke up for that, but he didn't wake up for me giving him a motivation speech.
Motivation, or were you just yelling at him the whole time?
No, it's motivation.
At what point were you like, he's actually like, I'm getting through to him. He's listening intently.
Because he wasn't arguing with me. I thought he was like getting it, you know?
Car rides are soothing, okay?
The funny thing is, I was in the backseat that entire time, didn't say a word. It was hilarious to see the whole 20-minute process.
Yeah. So that was Ryan's story.
He fell asleep.
Yeah. He fell asleep while I was talking.
That's why they call me little mimis.
They did not call you that.
They do now.
Get in the car, man.
What else? Let me see. Dominic. I always remember, I don't know if we've talked about this before on your shows. The funny thing about Dominic is that he's so serious and he's joking, but if you don't know him, you don't know he's joking, right?
Are you asking me?
Right, yeah. I'm saying it. So all of you comment, right?
Yes, I think so.
Well, the funny thing about you, Dominic, that I always remember is that you would always get in trouble like when you weren't doing anything at all. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I'm talking with the cops. You'd get brought home by the cops and you weren't doing anything.
Nope.
And then meanwhile, your cousins or your brothers were out doing stuff they weren't supposed to, and you're the one that would get in trouble. And then we'd be like, he's fine, he's fine.
I think I just always had ACAB vibes.
I feel like cops would look at you and be like, "You think you're better than me?"
Literally just
Something about
sitting
this
here.
kid.
And
I got in trouble because I was in Texas. I was 12 years old in El Paso, Texas, on vacation, and I asked my grandma, "Can I go to the gas station to get a soda?" And she said yes. So I walked 2 blocks to the gas station.
it was
And
like
then
half a
15
block.
minutes later, I came back in a cop car because the cop was like, "Why aren't you in school?" And I was like, "Because I'm from California." That's it. And then he was like, "Well, so if I go and take you to school, they're not going to say anything?" I'm like, "Probably not." He's like, "Where are your parents?" "They're in California. I'm visiting my family." And then he's like, am I going to enroll you? I mean, big ups to this fool for his commitment, but he was going to enroll me into a middle school that day.
Yeah. So
It'd be funny if he was like, "Prove it."
I just remember stuff like that happening all the time, and it wasn't funny at the time. I know, like you weren't happy about it, but afterward, if you put it all together and talk about it, then it's funny.
That's just a funny way to phrase it.
I got ticketed for jaywalking
In front of a library
in front of a library.
that I had to go to court for.
Yeah. How much
Really?
was the ticket?
I don't know, like $115.
I feel like I paid you back by now.
Oh my god!
You're like that dude from The Simpsons.
Well, you
Gil.
bought me a car twice.
I bought her a car twice. You see that, folks? That's how you celebrate your mother on Mother's Day.
Dominic's like a real life Gil from The Simpsons. That guy that's like, "Oh, jeez, I was living in there." That guy. Some bad things happen. Gilberto, Mexican Gil.
My cousins were lighting fireworks in the wash, and I was standing outside because I'm like, I'm not going to go in there. You guys are going to get in trouble. Somebody called the cops on a group of kids that were lighting fireworks in the wash, and I got stopped by the cops and held.
And brought home.
And
And brought home by the cops.
yeah,
And that was funny because you were the only one not playing with the fireworks. Everyone else scrammed as soon as they saw the cops. And you didn't leave because you're like, I wasn't doing anything.
and I didn't snitch either.
That's true. You did.
That cop should have been doing his job.
Oh my gosh. That and many others, countless.
I got thrown out of preschool
That's right.
for throwing a chair.
Sorry.
Hadouken.
Yes. Yes, he did get thrown out of preschool.
Damn.
I don't know.
I got a
Oh,
bus
yeah.
driver to yell at me once.
I threw a chair because they said that Oh no, because I wouldn't do the work that were giving us. I said it was for babies, which
Yes.
is just don't let me do something else. Like I don't need to do this pink by numbers, whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if it's too easy for me, let me do something else. Why did make me do the thing?
The thing
it's
is-
preschool.
I'm
It's not even
imagining-
accredited.
You're
I'm
talking.
imagining you like showing up like for a job. Like if it's a job interview, like here's the thing you have to know about me. I work hard and I play hard.
The thing is you did that throughout your whole school years, and then by the time you got to high school, you were done. You didn't want to.
Yeah.
You didn't want to do anything anymore, and it was like you finished like the whole year's worth of work and went in like the first 2 months of school, which was really annoying. So, yeah.
If they didn't want me to do it all in 1 month, they shouldn't have made it so that I could do it all in 1 month.
They just gave you the book. You did it on your own.
Yeah, that's all I need.
Yes. So, Diego, can you remember something? Okay.
Diego.
Okay, wait.
Diego got sent home. He was suspended from elementary school for throwing knives. No, not for throwing knives. That's Ryan Gosling.
He
Diego was running around telling people that he was born to kill because he was born during the year of the tiger.
I was in first grade, mind you.
I like that it
But
was
yeah.
like
I think I could never play Dynasty Warriors 6 ever again.
Dynasty Warriors?
You don't remember that game?
I know the game, but I don't know how
The
you got
connection.
that from wanting to kill your classmates.
No, because mom made that connection after I
Oh.
came home. And he's like, all right, you can't play that game ever again.
Were you just like, enough Chinese things?
no.
No Dynasty Warriors, no Panda Express.
That's very racist, Dominic.
You did it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you a story I remember about Diego. And this is, let me see. You were about 14. You were about 11 or so. So how old would Diego have been?
7.
7?
About
7, 8. That's right. Well, I was always going 1,000 miles a minute with these kids. There was
She's a
4
very
of
fast
them.
driver.
And I would work full time and then get out and take them to their doctor, to their practice, to their dentist, to their award ceremony, to their concerts, to
Oh,
their.
I'm sorry you had to take us to an
I know.
award ceremony.
Yeah, it was like you were a mom or something.
And I was always rushing. And my job, I had a work cell phone that they'd call me constantly. So not only was I working while I was at work, but when I was out of work running around, I'd get many phone calls, and it was a lot to process. And I say it over and over again, I was going 1,000 miles a minute. So one day I get off, I go to your tia's house and I pick you guys up, the 3 of you, or no, both of you. And then I take off and we get on the freeway, and I would rush so that we could hurry up and beat traffic, or try to
'Cause
beat.
the 10 freeway was under construction.
Yes, it would try to beat some of the traffic, right? Well, we were almost home, which was in Rialto at the time. And we were almost going to get off the freeway. And I said, "Where's Diego?" We had
Remember?
forgot to pick up Diego at
would
the
not let-
daycare.
That was so funny. I was
And-
in the passenger seat that day.
We flipped out. We totally flipped out.
I
But
couldn't stop laughing.
We.
Yeah, I was laughing.
luckily, Anthony was working, and he was getting off work, and he was able to get off work and go pick you up. And he was like 16 years. Anthony was like 16 years old, but he went and he picked you up because the daycare knew him.
The thing that was so funny about that for me was recently in that week, my mom had got mad at me because I don't remember what activity it was at the time. It might have been Boy Scouts or something, or Wolf Scouts, whatever they called them. It was an after school program, and I had forgotten to show up like 3 times, so I wasn't allowed to be in it anymore. So my mom had lectured me. She's like, "I never forget anything. I always make my appointments." So like 3 days later, when she forgets Diego, I was like, "Ha! See, it's not just me." I was like roasting her. I wouldn't let her live it down. It was so funny.
That's right. That's right. That happened.
I just remember it was really cool being picked up by my older brother.
Here's the other funny story. Here's the other funny story, Diego. In the daycare that you guys went to, Diego holds the record to this day
Most girlfriends.
for the youngest member of Happy Campers.
That's right.
And Diego was like their favorite because he was the oldest kid. I mean, he had been there the longest. And so there came a point in time when we didn't qualify to go there anymore. We didn't qualify for you to be enrolled in there anymore.
I remember this.
And so the next year, he was supposed to get off the bus and go to your tia's house, but he kept going to the daycare, and they had to call me at work because he wasn't enrolled anymore. But he had gotten so used to the schedule that he would just get off the bus and go to the daycare, and then they let him for a few months until finally they're like, okay, he can't come no more.
They should have just let him go.
Diego was like a real Macaulay Culkin in his child.
So that was funny too.
The weird thing is, I don't have any memory of anyone telling me that I couldn't go. But I just kept going.
Because you were like 4 or 5, right? Like he was little.
No, he was like he was like 11.
Oh,
He was like he was like 11 years old, and he
That's
wasn't
funny.
supposed to go no more, and he
Like,
kept going.
I think the day that I remember that I stopped going was I remember we had you had enrolled me at the elementaries after school daycare, and I remember the first day I went, it was on a Friday, so we didn't have any homework on Fridays. So I was like, oh, it's cool, we're just gonna play board games and whatever. Then the next week on my second day, we went and everybody was doing their homework. I was like, I'm not doing that. Went on the school bus, got dropped off at Happy Campers, went over there and was like, hey, I'm back. They're like, you're not supposed to be here. Oh, okay, I'll just go to my tia's. And I just waited there for like an hour until somebody called me, or like someone came over and picked me up. That's the only
Yeah.
memory I have of not
Yeah.
being allowed in Happy Campers.
be funny if there was like a new person there. Because as my mom said, like we went there for a long time, so a lot of them knew that we had relatives in the area. But I'm just imagining like Diego walking in and they were like, "Oh, you're not on the list, okay," and then just walking out into the wilderness.
That's
like,
so crazy
bye.
that they would just let a kid walk away. Like, just,
Yeah. Well, we literally live across the street from it.
but
That's what I'm saying is like it's funny, like because if anyone new was working there, then they just like they don't know that he lives across the street, so they just
I used to
released him into the wild.
I used to be an after school teacher. I worked with this program, and I don't know if this applies to it, but you're a mandatory reporter. So like anything that happens to a minor, it doesn't matter if you're on campus or like if you're like even the example that they gave us was that if you're at a festival, if you're at a carnival, like out like at the LA Carnival, and you see something happen to a kid, like you have to report it. So these people, I mean, they weren't real teachers, so I guess they're not held to the same standard.
Yeah. Well, Diego wasn't held to the same standard for sure. He got away with a lot there. Okay, so
What's the next question?
well, I have one more for Anthony.
Oh,
I have a story for Anthony.
We have another one.
So a funny thing I remember about Anthony, there's so much with Anthony, because like there was so much with Anthony, but one thing I remember, he was kind of little still, maybe 11 years old. He knew I love candy, so he's like, "Mom, I got you this really good candy, you want some?" And he poured it looked like Nerds or something, or jelly beans. He poured it on his hand. And I said, "Oh, what's that green one? I'll take that green one." And I thought it was like sour green apple or something. And it tastes like grass. And I was like, "Oh, what is that?" And I start spitting it out. And he goes, here's another one. And it was like brown. And I thought it was chocolate or caramel. So I was like, I need to get that flavor out of my mouth. And so I put that one in my mouth, and it tastes like you had dirt in your mouth. It was so disgusting. And he was laughing so hard that the veins were popping from his neck. And then after
It was the Hogwarts every flavored jelly bean.
and then I said, "Give me another one to get this one out of my this flavor." And so he gives me another one, and it looked gray and with like pink speckles in it. And I thought, what the fuck is this going to be?
Why
And
did you eat it?
I didn't eat that one. I said, I don't trust you. I'm not going to eat that one. He was dying. And I said, what flavor was it? He said, vomit. I said, oh my God, Anthony. I always remember that
I
one.
mean, fool me once. But you did it twice.
Yes, I did.
Fool me 4 times. That was so funny.
I'd like to say one thing. Oh, by the way, before I say anything else, today's my dad's birthday. May 11th. Today's my dad's birthday. I forgot to tell you guys.
Pour
So,
one out?
what?
Nothing.
What did you say?
I said, should we pour one out?
Oh, the Mojo glass, one for my homie.
You guys are so rude. Let me
Tell us a story
see.
about Grandpa.
There's too many. There's too many stories. He'd be 78 years old today. He died on May 7th. We buried him, or we had his funeral on May 11th on his 60th birthday.
Oh.
So he would have been 78 years old today. He was really funny. I think you guys get your humorous, want to make people laugh from him because he used to make crowdfuls laugh like he was a stand-up comedy. He was in his living room. You know what I mean? And he loved music. He loved oldies. And he loved to cook. And he was a fine chef, a fine culinary chef. Not a trained professionally, but he trained himself, and he was the best. He was the kind of chef that could make, I don't know, elegant gourmet enchiladas out of cream and green chili, or he could dig a hole in the backyard and cover it with stones and cook a pig. He was that kind of chef. He made the best carne asada I've ever tasted. He is the one that taught me how to make rice. I have many videos making rice, and I usually, when it comes out perfect, I call it my dad's rice. Let me see what else. He was a mechanic, but for extra money on the weekend, he used to fix cars, and he used to redo old classic cars from scrap, from salvage, towed into the driveway, and they would leave looking like they were in mint condition, beautifully painted, welded, chrome shined under the hood. He did it all.
And he taught you about cars, right?
Yeah, I spent time with my dad, on the driveway. I was always hanging out with my dad. I had 2 sisters and a brother that were always inside of the house with my mom, but I was always outside with my dad. And so he would teach me about cars. I'd help him. I'd hand him tools. And those are my fond memories of my dad.
Did
Plus-
he play tricks on you?
No, I mean, yeah, sometimes. I used to play tricks on him though.
Do you want to tell one of those?
I don't know. They were just silly things between me and him. Like it wasn't, nobody knew about. It was just silly things.
Right.
Like he'd fall asleep, and then I'd the other day when you posted you had just cut your hair, I could not stop staring because you look just like my dad, and your face, the way it's shaved, it was just like my dad, just like that. And so I used to climb on my dad, and then I would make little ponytails in his beard when he was asleep. I'd make little ponytails all over, and then he'd wake up and he wouldn't know, and we wouldn't tell him. And we were all me and my sister would be giggling, and he'd take us to the market or whatever, and we wouldn't tell him, and he was walking around like that. Yeah. But I just remember him for being fun. He never judged me. He always accepted me just how I was, which was big for me because that was a hard thing for me. growing up. So he accepted me just the way that I was. I was different. I was not the same as everybody else, I guess. And my dad just accepted me exactly how I was and rolled with it. So, yeah.
We got to spend a little bit of time with him
Mm-hmm.
before he passed. I remember he used to play tricks on Diego a lot because he was
Mhm.
blind. Our grandpa was blind when we met him.
What did I say? That was. I don't remember that.
No, he would just do stuff like he was blind, so he used to hide the TV remote next to him, and Diego would try to be watching like Power Rangers or something, and he would like keep changing the channel during like really intense parts, and Diego's like yelling at the TV like, "What the hell's going on?" And my grandpa's just laughing to himself because nobody ever suspects the blind man.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I never knew that.
He was, yeah, he would do stuff like that. But he also, me and his wife, we would be in the kitchen cooking and he would tell us how to cook it. Like exactly. And we used to call it remote control cooking because he would tell us, okay, and bend the tortilla like this. And then he had such a keen sense of like hearing and smell that he would say, you're burning it. Or he would say, you're not folding it fast. He knew what we were doing because it would either start sizzling too hard or the smell of the, that it was getting too brown, I guess. I don't know. The tortilla. And he would be like, you're burning it, flip it. He would tell us how to do it. And then it would come out like really like almost like his,
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I remember about my dad.
So these are now from Discord. Roscoe from the Discord asks, what made you want to start your business and were you nervous at the beginning?
What made me want to start was Anthony and Dominic's passion for, they were the ones that had started in the tea business and they were the ones that were going to pursue this business. They had just both finished film school and they were working from project to project and they would come home and tell me, Mom, like, we brought you this, you got to try this. And I was like, oh my God, that's the most wonderful. And I started getting into it because I wasn't a tea person before. So I ended up falling in love with what they were doing. At one point in time, they almost took over this business and, a lot of stuff happened in between. They got offered other opportunities that pertain to their career, to their school. And so they went in a different direction and I decided to continue. Once I had decided to, once Anthony asked me if I would join them, and they decided to go in a different direction, I kept going.
Right, we were talking about it earlier, but this wasn't like your field of work before. Like you started in a more corporate setting.
Yeah, I was totally corporate.
Where were you working before?
Yeah, I worked for In-N-Out Burger corporate office for 16 years.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It was fun for me anyway. I like sometimes I'd go with her to work and I would just sit there.
It was an amazing experience. I got paid a lot of money. And if it wasn't for them, I would have never been able to pull all this off by myself.
Right.
They taught me a lot and I, appreciate that.
What was the shift like from going from In-N-Out to running your business?
It was crazy. I had just hit a point in corporate. I had just hit a point where I felt like I was not going to be able to grow anymore. There was new management. They did things different and they were heading in a different direction with their group of people. And I could feel that. So people like myself, we had probably reached, the limit to where we were going to go. And I had grown the entire time that I was there. I had grown. I had gotten promoted. I had gotten, I ran a lot of the department. It was a big part of the department. Whether it was my title or not, I know, what I had to do. And so at that point, Diego was already a senior in high school. He was about to graduate, and I felt like all of you guys were doing well. All three of you were doing well. It was just Diego graduating from high school, and I thought it was my time. It was perfect timing. So to answer, I was really excited. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't as nervous as I should have been. I thought I was a badass. I thought I was a parent booster. I was on the executive board of the parent boosters. And I was, I held a position at an In-N-Out Burger, and I felt that I can do it all. But it was way harder than I expected. It really was. And I went through a lot by myself that I did not expect to go through, and a lot of it sucked. But I hung in there. I believed in what I was doing, and I still do, and I have no regrets. I wouldn't go back if I could. I would continue to do this for myself.
Yeah, I mean, I like that because I remember, on the occasion being able to help you with the business, and at first, obviously, you coming from a corporate setting, and me and my two older brothers having already worked for this specific business, we had more like, what's the term? Not like business knowledge, but we had more specific knowledge about the product.
Oh, absolutely.
But like now you've reached a point where like you blend your own, like you come up with your own flavors now. And I think that's really cool.
What's really cool about right now, this particular time specifically, is that people are coming to me asking to blend flavors.
Right.
So my friend Shelly, who wants to be a guest here, by the way, I just blend 3 flavors for him, and he's going to put, I don't know how many of them on his website.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that. That's pending. We got that pending. We got someone we're working with that has friends that are in the event weddings and stuff like that. So last weekend we were able to have a kind of a big sale for his friend, and they really enjoyed it. They had a tea party of some sort, and they really enjoyed it. So I have that coming. That was just like a sample test run, if you will. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of stuff coming, pending that I'm in the works with.
Well, I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm so excited too.
Okay. The next question is coming from, this is so funny. This person's username is Alas Earwax on Discord, and it's funny because that's a reference to Harry Potter when he eats the same jelly beans. They ask, what's the thing she misses the most, or has the fondest memory of from your childhood?
I guess from my childhood, there's so many. I think my favorite part is spending time with my dad when I was really, really little, before he and my mom got divorced. He was always around. So I got to spend a lot of time with him, and he was funny. He was just really funny. He always let me do whatever I wanted. And
Created a monster.
yeah, him and my mom would fight about it because it was just the dumbest things. Like I would tie a rubber band around my pinky, and then it would turn red and purple and swollen, and my mom would be like, "What the hell are you doing? Look at what's gonna happen. Her finger's gonna fall off." And he'd be like, just let her, leave her alone.
If it falls off, it falls off.
Good parenting.
And so, yeah, he would do stuff like that. So I like that.
You have all your fingers?
Yeah. And the other thing about my dad is he used to ride me on his shoulders, like forever. He would pick me up and put me on his shoulders, and then I would hold on to him. I would hold on to his face so I wouldn't fall. And I just thought, like, I felt like super tall. I felt like powerful. I felt like I was the shit. You know what I mean? That was the good fond memory. I I remember when my dad used to finish working on a car, and he would start like calling me, like I was playing in the yard or whatever, and he would call me and then take me for a ride. He would take me for a ride to ride around the block. He would test drive, right? Before the people were going to come pick up their car.
You used to go to Whittier Boulevard a lot, huh?
I did.
Cool.
Is that significant? Is that where they had those car shows?
Whittier Boulevard is where people used to go show off their cars.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I got to throw in there cooking with my dad. That was a fond memory of my childhood. Also, I had a fond memory of performing. When I was a kid growing up, I was in band. I was just like you guys. I was in band. I was in color guard. I was in cheerleading. That was fun for me, performing.
Can you twirl this?
Yeah, I thought you were gonna be like,
No,
"Prove
it's
it."
too little. It's too little. Mine was way too big. You need a longer one.
So that reminded me that you taught me how to twirl baton, because I wanted to be like Darth Maul when I was a kid. And it was just like happened. You saw what I was trying to do, and so you showed me, but you were showing me like I was doing like the up and down like band baton twirling, but I thought it was like Star Wars moves.
Okay, this has got to be the best memory of me and my baton twirling because I did that for like 10 years as a child. Probably started when I was 3 or 4. 4, I'm going to say. And it ended when I was like 13. So however many years that is. So one of those years, I must have been 8 years old, 7, 8 at the most. And there used to be, I was never the star. I was never the star, even though I had my little sassy attitude. But I was never like number one, in my team, in my group. We had a large group of little girls. But one year, we used to all pay like $1 to get into this competition. There was like hundreds. Imagine a gymnasium, like a basketball gym, with full court with hundreds of little girls on there.
I'm not gonna imagine that.
And they're all from different teams. They're all from different teams. It's called a marching elimination. So what that means is somebody with the microphone is calling out commands, and each one of you have to turn the right way. She says right face, left face, about face. And then she starts doing tricky ones, like horizontal ones, like just different ones. And once you start, she starts going faster and faster and faster and faster. So, and I'm concentrating, so I'm not looking around me. I'm concentrating and I'm following her exactly what she's saying. So you're turning and turning, and as you're turning, you're just seeing tons of girls be just walking away, or they get tapped on the shoulder because they messed up. If you hesitate when she calls something and she says right face and you go like that, and then you go, oh no, this way, no, you're out. They come and they tap you and they make you leave. So all of a sudden she starts going fast, calling these commands out, right face, left face, about face, and on and on and on. And then all of a sudden she stops, and I land facing my back to the audience and my face to the wall, and I could hear, and then she stops and it's silent, and everyone's cheering, everyone's going crazy, and they say about face. So that means you turn around and face the audience. I was the only one left out of those hundreds of kids. I was the only one left, and I just smiled. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I won. I was little. Like there's girls that were 15, 16, 17, 18. I beat them all. I beat hundreds of them. And they gave me this big old trophy that was taller than I was.
I wonder how long they had you there spinning around by yourself.
I don't know. I don't know, because I could still see girls leaving, but I wasn't focused on that. So they were still with me until the end, I think. There was a handful at least till the end. Anyway.
They did. We never like competed like that, but we would have drum offs, or drill offs, when we were in marching band, and that
Yeah.
was essentially what it was. I forget, there was like a kind of prize. I never won, so I never knew what the prize was, but there was like some, I
it was just a
think
game.
like whatever instrument lasted, like your section got to get water first during the breaks, something like that. They're very annoying. I did not have as much fun.
You know, when I was a parent booster and being able to hang out with you guys, that was a lot of fun. And I did that for 13 years. Just starting from Anthony until Ryan. That was a lot of fun to be able to go on the trips with you guys, to be able to, you know, hang out with you guys on the weekend and do all that. That was a lot of fun.
Damn, you were in band longer than we were.
Yeah, I was.
You
I
were
thought it
in
was
there
funny-
after none of us were even in band.
True.
No, that's not true.
Didn't you do one extra year?
No, I did half of a year. No, the reason I stayed there for half of a year when none of you were in band was because Ryan quit and they didn't have anyone to take over, and I had such a responsibility. That they were like, "Now what are we gonna do?" So,
Peace. Figure
was-
it out.
I agreed to stay there until the end of that year. That was it.
That was my senior year. What happened essentially was I wanted to switch instruments, and he wouldn't let me. And he gave me a very specific reason of like horn switching to percussion is not common, especially in your senior year. And then the very next day, someone that sat in the chair next to me joined the percussion team. So I was like, I'm not coming back next semester. I know it's the last semester, but I was very petty. I took automotive instead, and they learned how to rewire cars.
What the fuck? Ryan's a fucking car thief all of a sudden?
No, I just know I could probably hook your lights to your brakes as a joke. That's about all I remember.
Is that why my fucking car doesn't work?
No.
I'm sure he hasn't messed with you.
I thought it was funny that so all three of us were in band, but the kid that ended up being an athlete chose the only instrument we have to sit down to play.
Yeah,
Diego was in orchestra. He played the violin.
that's
Mhm.
right.
It's pretty good at it too. There's a
From sixth
YouTube
grade till junior year high school.
Lame.
nerd,
Whack.
dork.
Stupid.
I believe there's 2 left. This one is from Usagi Pie. I always
Why
laugh.
do you say it so weird every time?
How else do you pronounce it? Usagi Pie sounds
No.
worse.
Usagi.
What did he
but you
ask
said
me? What did he ask?
It's a.
So she asks, what was your reaction to finding out? This is hard to explain. What was your reaction every time you found out you were pregnant with one of us?
Oh, yikes. Gulp.
Oh
I feel
boy.
like mine is the funniest.
Rough.
I think my birth story is the funniest.
She almost killed me on my birthday.
Why? Why'd
I
you
don't know
say that?
why. I don't know what brings you to do any of the things that you do.
What are you talking about?
It sounded like the Peacemaker line. Who knows
What does
men
that
do what they
mean?
do?
When I was born, they were like, wait, the doctor's coming. And she's like, get this demon child out of me.
I thought you meant like they bring the baby to her, and you're like, you think you're better than me? Anyway,
Dominic, okay. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll tell you about when you were born. When you were born,
Clear the air. Why don't you?
it was I had easy deliveries, I have to say, I think, compared to what others, except for you, Diego. Yours was really bad. But Dominic's was really, really intense. It was like an hour and 45 minutes of sheer agony and yell and screaming. That's what it was. And like everyone was telling me, shh, 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 like everyone was looking like the nurses, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't know why yours was so painful, worse than the others. But there was a girl next to me. There was 2 of us, and we were both really young. And I remember that I was yelling, and she hadn't started her contractions yet. She had started her labor, but she hadn't started her painful contractions yet. And she was looking at me, and she was crying because she was scared. She was scared because I was just like literally like screaming, like screaming, like help me, somebody. And then finally, when you came out, Dominic, you were the most beautiful baby I've ever seen in my life. You were so freaking cute, and he was. I mean, I can't even describe. He was so cute, and even like other people that came to look at their kids or to their kids' babies, you know, like grandparents or whatever. They were all, oh my God, look at that one, how cute! Like they were all talking about you.
Like I was a puppy.
And then when they brought you to me, and the nurse says, "My God, is he making a fuss out there? I'm gonna bring him in here so that you can protect him."
Capricorns, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! So yeah, so that was you.
What about Diego? He was a troublemaker already?
Diego was just freaking huge. He was so big, and you know, I try to say with all of you, I try to say no pain relief, no medication. But with Diego, I was like, give me a double. It was like so painful, so massive. I blame him for the pain I got to this day on my tailbone. I can't ever sit still. That's why I can't sit a certain way. I have to like lean forward or like keep adjusting myself. And oh my gosh, when he came out, everyone was like, the doctors and nurses were saying, "Oh my God, is that baby 2 months old already?" And
Comes out a grown man.
yeah, they were like, he looks like a little football player because he looked like so big. And yeah, that was Diego.
That's
Diego
it's
nearly.
so funny because eventually you got a lot leaner than we did, but you still ended up playing like a lineman, like one of the roles in football for one of the larger members. Like
Yeah, it was weird. Like,
you were going up against dudes like 3 times your size.
yeah, by my junior year, I was playing left guard, defensive end, and I was also on the kickoff team. But out of all the linemen, I was the smallest one at 5'7", at 185 at the time. The next person up was 5'8", about 200, and after that, it was going up to 5'10" and 240 and up. Biggest dude on the team was 6'2", like almost 300.
I feel like you're just talking a lot of nonsense right now, and nobody knows what you're talking about.
It's all true. It's all true, Diego.
But yeah,
I was there.
That's I don't know what.
It was just entertaining to see like someone who's like the size of like Kevin Hart at the time going up against someone like as tall as The Rock. Like if you could see Kevin Hart flip The Rock over, that's it. That looks cool.
What else you got?
Last question.
The last question. This is from one of our moderators on Discord. Shout out to Celine.
What's up, Salim?
She asks, I'm curious if you've ever felt any societal pressure as a mom raising Chicano boys to either suppress their Chicano-ness or instead or rather did you ever feel like an urge to emphasize it and make sure that we knew where we came from?
I absolutely did. I feel like I received, or I was, how do you want to say? I went through a lot of prejudice when I was having you guys because I was so young and I was looked, down upon, especially in certain areas where the main ethnicity is, a certain
White.
Hey, Dominic.
What?
And I just felt like the pressure for sure. But I was like, I'm the way that I am. I was like emphasizing it more. No, we are this. And I just felt that the need to emphasize in your upbringing as much as I could.
Right.
Because I'm not well versed. I didn't know exactly, and I didn't know my own history. I tried to get a lot out of my dad before he passed. but I did the best that I could with everything that I got. And sometimes I feel like maybe you guys thought it was a little bit overkill. So I would just, try to do the best I can, try to back off when I felt, I needed to, but definitely emphasize who I am, who I felt I was. I'm very comfortable in my skin. I have always been very confident because I feel like you don't need to know everything. You just need to be true to yourself. And that goes a really long way. It's gone a really long way. It's given me opportunities and chances. You just have to be confident with yourself. And I tell all of you guys out there, that's a huge thing that I'm sure my mom and my dad instilled in me, is just be proud of who I am, no matter what, and be confident with who I am and confident with what I'm doing. And that's what's important to me. So, like, to me, I feel like you guys, the four of you, Anthony's not here, but he's always with us,
He's not dead.
I mean, but
The Force.
he's always with us,
It's a huge Star Wars
I
nerd.
could call him right now.
Let's call him. Let's call him right now.
I don't think I can.
Well, I asked him if he'd be available, if we could call him, but he said he was going to be busy. So
Oh,
maybe
you can't.
maybe we could catch him on Sunday, though.
Yeah.
We'll like try to do something with him. So anyhow,
Yeah, well.
I feel like there was a lot of, I would just pick and choose. We only had so much time in life, I was
Right.
working all week long. We were commuters. You guys were commuters too, because we would commute home and then commute back to school.
Right, we lived outside of our district.
Yeah, I wanted
Suckers.
it that way. I wanted it that way because it was only one of me. If something happened, I had to be close by to you guys. So
Right.
that's why I kept you guys close to me. You guys grew up in the same city, so you were familiar with the same people. It was just easier.
I mean, to your credit, you we just went to the Cheech Marin Museum, and a big part of that was because you took us to the LACMA show like years ago. I think it was 2008. Like, you did try to teach us Spanish. I think one of the problems was like we didn't need to learn Spanish to communicate at home, but like you put us in classes and like you took me and Anthony to private classes. I don't know why we never learned it, but
I mean, I think you learned the little bit that you do because of that, though. And by the way, you guys went to the Cheech Marin Museum in LACMA when you guys were young. You guys probably didn't realize that it was, but it was a Cheech Marin Museum.
No, yeah, that's
it
what
wasn't
he
the
was.
museum. It was at LACMA. It was
It was
anyway.
an art gallery.
We're
He
not
was
gonna-
showing his personal collection.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's what we were referencing. We
Yeah.
talk about it in the episode.
Right on.
Check it out.
That was fun. That's the first
Please.
time I had homemade like tamarindo paste, like with the little jars and the spoon on the side. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know
Yeah.
you can make that at home. Yeah, I feel like not everything stuck, but that wasn't like for lack of trying. That was just like, we're kids.
Yeah, I think when we were younger,
But some of it did like ingrain itself.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, I was also speaking. Yeah, I mean, like one thing, I'm super into cartoons, but I remember like because it was a thing that we joked about a lot at the beginning because I didn't realize I was Latino because I'm autistic and we didn't know that. But like it was definitely something that stuck with me every time like I saw, comic books with Latino main characters or cartoons about like Mucha Lucha was one of my favorite cartoons growing up, and then it was because it was like predominantly it was all Latino cast, Latino main character, and I feel like a lot of that our ability, even if we were resistant to it, that window in our brain was open because of you.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Yes, happy
It's all-
Mother's Day. Thank you for he's my ride, but he also stuck around for the episode.
If you made it this far, share this video with your mom. We're trying to get our views up.
I like yours better. I was gonna say, tell
Then
us
let's leave
your
it at
birth
there.
story.
Oh, tell
Uh,
us your birth story. That would be
in
cool.
the comments. Yeah. And from us at Un Poquito and the Reyes family, Reyes and Mezgo family, don't fly.
Happy Mother's Day.